San Diego is one of the most diverse counties in the United States for nature, so here are the best things that you can do in San Diego this spring. Torrey Pines Preserve is one of the best state parks to visit in Southern California. Beautiful coastline, cliffs, and marshland cover this area with great hiking trails. The park is filled with Torrey pines, which were once prevalent in Southern California, but now only exist in 2 coastal areas. It's a beautiful area to visit any time of the year, but in the spring, you can see native California wildflowers. Look out for California poppies, which are the state flower and one of my favorites. There are several parking lots, but depending on if you go on a weekend, the ones near the visitor center at the top will get filled quickly. So if you want to avoid parking at the bottom and doing a big walk uphill, and just like that, I've already shut off my first layer. Most of the hikes stay along the top of the cliffs, so make sure to bring your binoculars as you will be able to see dolphins and whales at any time of year if you're patient. So hopefully you can hear me with the waves crashing in the background. One of the things that you need to research before you come is check the tides. If you want to come at high tide, you're not going to be able to access the beach because the tide comes all the way up to the cliffs, which I'm sitting next to right now. So if it was high tide, there'd be no way I could be here. So if you want to come to the beach, just make sure that you're coming at low tide or almost low tide. Anywhere you go in Torrey Pines, you'll be rewarded with dramatic coastal views. So one thing to keep in mind, no matter what time of year you come to California, whether it's North or South California, the beach is always colder than inland. So even if you go inland just a couple few hundred feet or something, it's a lot different in temperature. So make sure that you're wearing layers. And don't forget your reusable water bottle, as there is little shade here. La Jolla is a stunning California beach town with incredible views. But there's even more to see here than great vistas. There's an amazing amount of wildlife that resides in this seaside town. Even non-marine mammals. You can see marine life at any time of the year, but in the spring, you will be able to see harbor seal pups that lie around the beach, waiting for their moms to come back from fishing. Even though the beaches where the seals are closed off, you can still get pretty close. However, during pupping season, it's important to keep your distance from seal pups. Mother seals will abandon their pups if they have human scent on them, which means the pups won't get fed. There are signs everywhere to remind visitors of this, so just please be respectful. Just follow this boardwalk along, and you'll be able to go to both the sea lions and the seals. The seals and the sea lions are in different locations, so you just need to follow the path along the cliffs and you will eventually find them. Another benefit of visiting in the spring is to see the Brandt's cormorants that nest in the cliffs. You'll probably smell them before you see them, but the chicks are still pretty cute. Coming at low tide gives you the opportunity to look at tide pools. Even though La Jolla is a popular tourist spot, it's a place that you don't have to go far to see wildlife. So be sure to bring your binoculars and layers no matter the time of the year. And as always, it's important to remember that this is their home, so make sure to follow the rules. Keep your distance from wildlife and leave it better than you found it. The spring is one of the best times to visit the Japanese Friendship Garden, which is located in the famous Balboa Park near downtown San Diego. It is filled with cherry trees, which blossom for a short time in the spring. The Cherry Blossom Festival takes place during the weekend of when the blooms are at their best, which is normally in March. Unfortunately, this year, because of all the rain, the blossoms didn't last very long until the rain brought them down, but I've been in previous years where they last well over a week. There are vendors selling goods, Japanese street food, and traditional Japanese performances like taiko drums. And kendo martial arts. If you're interested in just admiring the cherry blossoms, I would recommend coming on a weekday as it will be a lot less busy. You can check their website when the time gets closer and it will tell you like the percentage of how much the trees are in bloom. If you decide to go during the festival, just be sure to get in your food early as the lines can be hours long, like when I went. There are lots of native San Diego birds that you can see in the area, and there is a koi pond, but also it's just a nice garden to have right in the middle of downtown San Diego just to get a little peace and quiet. Anza Borrego Desert Park is located 2 hours northeast of downtown San Diego and is the largest state park in California. In my opinion, spring is the best time of the year to visit because the weather is perfect. You get to see the wildflowers blooming, and there's even an abundance of wildlife that live in the desert ecosystem. In the spring, it's lambing season for bighorn sheep, but I didn't realize that and I didn't start my hike until late morning, so unfortunately I didn't see any. Try to get there early morning or late afternoon if you want to see the lambs. So I'm currently on the Palm Oasis Trail, which is one of my favorite desert hikes, because if you spend any time in the desert, you'll kind of find that desert hikes kind of all look the same after a while. But this one is really different because, as the name suggests, it leads to a palm oasis. It's just such a cool hike because it's exactly what you would picture an oasis in a desert to be. And I just think it's really, really interesting, especially in the spring with all these wildflowers and the river running behind. Thankfully this winter, we've had a lot of rain in California, so the rivers are flowing and the wildflowers are blooming. The trail can be rocky in places and you will need to do a couple of river crossings along the trail. So just make sure that you have some sturdy footwear or waterproof shoes if you're going to get your feet wet.
That's how you do it.
Waterproof boots are helpful. The oasis is a great spot to sit and have some lunch, and there are lots of areas on the trail that you can find a nice rock and enjoy the views. The oasis is also a great place to escape the heat if you are here in the summer. If you're coming for a hike and wildflowers, I highly recommend this trail because there are just so many wildflowers. I can't take videos of everything because there's just so many different species. But if you were just coming for wildflowers, there are loads of other places around Anza Borrego that you can see concentrations of different wildflowers. Most important thing to keep in mind is to never pick the wildflowers and stay off the trail so that next year we can have wildflowers as well. Although Anza Borrego is a little bit further away from the downtown San Diego area, I still highly suggest it, so make sure you add it to your next trip. Thank you so much for watching. I put a lot of time and effort into this video, so if you liked it, maybe you could give it a little like or even subscribe. And if there's any places that you think I missed on this list, make sure to comment them below so that we can all share some new information and maybe find a new place that I haven't been to. And I'll see you next time. Oh, there's a beautiful towhee outside. Oh, it's a California towhee.